It's ironic that tonight's last recipient of the Adolph DeGrauwe Legacy Award is someone who was responsible for many of the leadership qualities that Adolph learned during his time in the Corps. I'd like to read from the nomination form that was submitted. Bruce Tietgen was a snare drummer during the Corps' formative years in the mid-1950s and guided the Cavaliers to their first national championship as drum major in 1957. His leadership qualities caused Don Warren to recruit him into the management ranks during the championship decade of the 1960s, seeing him rise to executive vice president by the early 1970s. He continued to be a source of guidance to subsequent drum majors, marching members, corps managers, and Don Warren himself through the many years. Upon his passing several years ago, he bequeathed the Corps its largest donation in history, leaving both a legacy of leadership and sustainability for the Cavaliers. Shortly before his death, a large group of snare drummers gathered in his honor for one last round of paradiddles with him in the center. The group spanned almost 60 years of alumni. There was not a dry eye in the room as Bruce struggled, but succeeded in leading us all one last time. He remains a standard of leadership that all Cavalier drum majors strive to achieve. Accepting the award on behalf of Bruce Tietgen is his longtime friend and drum instructor of the Cavaliers, Larry McCormick.
Bruce Tietgen and I met in the Schurz High School band. I remember the day he came into the band room first time. He was like a year later than I was in the band. And he came in dressed like a styling guy. He had a thing we called at the time pants that are called drapes, really kind of a wild thing. And he had shoes that were square-toed shoes. And it was really, I was really impressed with how he entered the band room. So from that point on, we were good friends, and Bruce and I were invited to come to the Cavalier Drum Corps with an invitation to their gathering one night in 1953. So we were invited by Warren Alm and Bill Steinert, who were Cavaliers at the time and buglers. So we came into the Corps and joined it. We were really impressed with what it was. And from that point on, we became very close. We were inseparable. We were both mentored and tutored by Frank Arsenault, who was our drum instructor, who came from the East and turned the drum section around, taught us how to really play drums, and we became pretty good drummers at the time. I had to leave the Corps at the end of 1956, and Bruce became the drum major in 57, and that's when they won the first national with Bruce being drum major. I'm remembering Bruce being kind of a great leader, and he was became a part of the management team later in his life. And even to the day that we buried Bruce, we celebrated his life and all of his contribution to the Corps as we went to his wake service and sang the Corps song and Rainbow with the whole gang. So it was quite a thing. But you can be certain that Bruce's blood was definitely green. He was an amazing guy. I miss him very much. We were friends for well over 50 years, and he and his wife, Elaine, and my wife were social friends as well. So we hung out together from time to time and enjoyed the blessing of being around our gang from those days. So really pay tribute to Bruce, and he's certainly deserving of this award.